Hey there, this is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, men's health doctor and founder here at the Fit Father Project. And I want to welcome you to this awesome series and this first training video on muscle building after 40. In these training videos I put together for you, over the next few days, I'm going to teach you some of the foundational fundamentals on what it takes to build muscle if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. Today in this video, we have a couple goals. First, we're going to cover the 6 foundations of muscle building after 40. We're going to talk about what kind of exercises you need to be doing, what kind of sets, reps, supplements. We're going to give you the big picture overview. And below on this page as well, I'm going to lay everything out in this little action guide so you have all the stuff you can print, all the routines you can start. And if you'd like a completely structured 8-week routine, we also have links to our old school muscle building program, which takes all this great information and wraps it into a proven 8-week program that's guaranteed to help you build muscle if you're a man over 40. Sound good? Let's dive on in. FitFatherProject.com. So the first principle of muscle building after 40 is that we need to start training with higher frequency but fewer sets per workout. And here's what I mean. Maybe if you were younger and you were doing some workouts, or if you've read muscle building magazines, you might have previously seen these bodybuilding style split routines where they say you do chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, shoulders on Thursday, arms on Friday, and they do one real session per week for each body part, and you just slam the heck out of that body part. So we're talking like 20 sets on chest on Monday where you're doing, flat dumbbell bench, incline dumbbell bench, flies, dips. Now, sometimes those kind of really intense split routines where you do tons of sets in one workout, they work for younger guys who have a stronger recovery capacity. And even that, they work for guys who are on performance-enhancing drugs like steroids who have a really, really enhanced recovery capacity. As a guy in your 40, naturally, as you know, your body's changing. So we need to really change up how we're going to train, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to take those 20 sets that we normally do on one day and we're going to spread it throughout the week. So what we want to do is, let's say, take those 20 sets of chest and we're going to train chest twice a week, but we're going to split those 20 sets up. So we do 10 on Monday, 10 sets on maybe like a Thursday. That means we have more time to recover in between the workouts, and we're not just slamming the heck out of a body part. And this is important because exercise and lifting weights to build muscle creates a stimulus for the muscle building processes to occur. But the muscle building itself, that happens after the workout when we're at home and we're recovering. So that's why we're going to talk about some muscle building nutrition in the rest of this video as well. But the first key point that you need to know is we do not want to follow those really high volume split routines. We want to space your volume out and train each body part with more frequency but fewer sets per session. And below on this page, I give you some of the ideal sets and reps for each body part, and to give you an idea on how you might want to structure your routine. But if you want all the thinking done for you and you want the exact action plan, we do have our old school muscle building workout program, which is awesome. You can check that out below. Sound good? Let's dive into principle number 2. Principle number 2, you want to prioritize using dumbbells instead of barbells and machines. See, as we get older and we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, we've had just lots of years of, nagging shoulder joint pain, like your shoulders, your knees, and your lower back. And so when guys come to me here at the Fit Father Project looking for support on building muscle after 40, one of the main things I teach them is we need to ditch some of the exercises that cause a lot of stress in the joints and do the modifications and the right exercises that are healthier for your shoulders, your knees, your low back, whatever's hurting on you right now. And the best way, as we know, to build muscle are these free weight compound exercises. And compound exercises, if you're not familiar, are exercises that involve multiple muscle groups. So, for example, a bench press is a compound exercise that involves your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. It's an amazing muscle builder. But instead of doing a barbell bench press, which keeps your shoulders in a very fixed position with the bar and puts a lot of tension on the shoulders, we're going to use dumbbells because that gives us a lot more control over the free range of the motion. We can really open up and press in a more natural arc, and our arms aren't fixed like a barbell in one plane. We can move the dumbbells in free motion, and that's so much healthier on your shoulders. So that bench press was just an example, but the key to creating a really good muscle building routine for you as a man over 40 is we need to modify and get the safest exercises. So a lot of things that you might have done with a barbell back like 20 years ago, now you want to start using dumbbells. So for example, another great muscle building exercise would be a barbell overhead shoulder press or a military press where you're pressing a barbell overhead. This is another great example of why we might want to use dumbbells, because that keeps your stabilizer muscle strong, because you have two dumbbells that you have to move simultaneously, and it's a lot healthier on your shoulders. We can do the same thing for rows for your back. Instead of using a bent over barbell row, we might use dumbbell rows. So a huge key point here is that we need to always assess the risk to benefit ratio of every exercise we're doing when you're over 40, especially if you have any nagging injuries like your shoulders, your knees, your low back. We help guys deal with this all the time here at the Fit Father Project. And one of the best things is using dumbbell exercises. I listed some of those below in this guide, so check some of those out. And the cool part is that actually they do these research studies called EMG, which stands for electromyography, where they actually test the stimulation of the muscle as you're doing different exercises. And the dumbbell exercises we listed below have some of the highest EMG activity, meaning they work the muscles the best and they're the safest. So that's principle number 2, use dumbbells over the barbells. Let's dive into principle number 3. Principle number 3 is to start using higher rep ranges as we get older. I love this quote from Frank Zane, who, if you're not familiar, is one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. He was a guy who was beating Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold was coming up in the bodybuilding space. And Frank is still training well into his 70s and 80s. And you should see pictures of him. We'll actually put some on this video right here. The guy looks freaking incredible. And he has this famous quote that says, if I could have gone back in time, how I would have changed my training is I would have trained with higher reps, so that I didn't create damage to my joints, and I would have focused more on the muscle contraction. And this is an extremely important point, is that we're learning from the new research that higher rep training isn't just for toning like we used to think. When I grew up lifting weights, when I started when I was 10, I was reading the muscle magazines, and they'd always say that, reps below 5 are best for strength. 6 to 8 is like more of strength and bodybuilding. 8 to 12 is perfect for bodybuilding, and over 12 reps is more for toning. All that is just not true anymore. Yes, lower reps are great for building a lot of strength, but we can also build a ton of muscle in those higher rep ranges. I'm talking like 12, 15, even 20 rep sets. In fact, there's some new research that shows that certain body parts like your arms respond better to higher rep training. They grow more doing reps over 15 than they do with lower rep ranges. Now here's the key point, is that as we use a higher rep range, naturally it makes the exercise intrinsically safer than if we use a lower rep range. Why? Because when we use a lower rep range, we have to lift a very heavy weight that might be 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max. And that puts more tension on your joints as well as your muscles. When we use a higher rep range, we can really focus on that muscular contraction, really feel and squeeze the muscle, get a good pump, get a lot of blood flow and nutrients into your muscles, and we can use a lighter weight. In fact, when you're in that 12 plus rep range, which you don't have to do all the time, but in our old school muscle program, we show you the kind of accessory exercises that we want you to do higher rep ranges on to get that good pump and the good muscle building from that. It keeps you a lot safer, and it's just a really good thing to think about. So for most guys, I recommend that you don't go below 8 reps on most exercises if you're over 40. There are some times when you might want to do 6 for a strength exercise on the front end, but most of the time I want your rep ranges higher. I want you to focus more on the contraction. It's going to drive a lot more blood flow, keep you safer, and help you build muscle faster. That's principle number 3. Let's dive into the next principle. All right, so principle number 4 is we want to follow a lean bulking nutrition plan. And when you were growing up, maybe you've seen some of these bulking nutrition plans they used to have back in the day where to build muscle, you just had to eat everything in sight. You'd eat the whole kitchen sink, tons of calories, milk, cheese, sandwiches. And when you're younger and your metabolism's a little more fired up, you can get away with doing this a little bit more than when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and the metabolism starts to slow down. That's why at this age, we need to be a lot more strategic on following a lean, bulking nutrition plan that's going to give you the right number of calories, but not too many, so that you're actually building muscle and just not packing on a ton of fat. Because the problem is when we pack on fat in our 40s, our 50s, and our 60s, it's a lot harder to get that fat off. So we need the right kind of nutrition. Here's the key points. First, you need to know how many calories you generally need for your body, for your age, for your activity level to build muscle, because we want you eating around 250 to 500 calories over your daily calorie expenditure. Because to build muscle, we need to have you eating more calories than you're burning each day. Why? Because your body simply needs the extra calories to build the new muscle tissue. If you're in a calorie deficit, meaning you're burning more calories than you're eating every day, that's a diet. And your body has a really hard time building muscle if you're not getting enough fuel. So we want the right number of calories. And it turns out that 250 to 500 over your daily requirement is the right number. And if you don't have that figured out, if you don't know exactly how many calories you should be eating, it's tough to really do that. So that's why in our old school muscle program, we also give you the calorie calculator, and we help you plan out your exact calories so that you know this is how many calories I should be having. Now, we don't have to necessarily like micromanage these, but if you don't even have a bullseye target to shoot at, you're gonna be way off base. And you're gonna be spinning your wheels with your workouts when you need to be refueling with the right kinds of fuel in the meal plan that sinks in with your workouts. So 250, 500 calories over. And then how we break those calories up is around 30% of your calories should come from good lean proteins. 45% of those calories should come from good complex carbs, and 20% of those calories should come from good fats. And so in Old School Muscle, we teach you that in all your meals, you should have a protein. Typically for most guys, it's gonna be around 6 to 8 ounces of protein with about a cup of carbs with a little serving of healthy fats. And a lot of guys don't realize is that the healthy fats are a huge component that get left out of a lot of muscle building nutrition plans. And it becomes extremely important when you're in your 40s because fats, and the healthy fats in particular, cholesterol, is the backbone of testosterone. Cholesterol helps you build testosterone. Testosterone is made directly from cholesterol, so we want the right kind of healthy fats in your diet to keep those hormones high, because testosterone and other muscle-building hormones naturally decrease as we age. So the key points here, to give you the overview and continue on with these principles, is that we want to eat more calories, so we need to have you know your calorie target. We can help you with that if you'd like some support. 2, we need to divide up protein, carbs, and fats into 30% protein, 45% carbs, 20% fats, and we want to include those good fats in there to boost the hormones and testosterone. So those are some of the fundamentals of muscle building nutrition. Let's move on to the next principle. Principle number 5, sleep and recovery becomes even more important when you're over 40 and you're looking to build muscle. Here's the thing, muscles grow outside of the gym. Muscle building itself and the workouts that we do in Old School Muscle or that you might be doing on your own right now create a stimulus for your body to build new muscle. Exercise causes protein synthesis, but then the muscle building itself, that happens at home. That happens after you leave the gym. That happens with the refueling with the right meal plan, and it happens with sleep and recovery, which is absolutely foundational. So here's what we tell guys here at the Fit Father Project, whether they're following our fat loss programs or our Old School Muscle Building program. 7 hours of sleep is a minimum you need to recover from your workouts to keep your growth hormone testosterone levels high. Because what a lot of guys also don't realize is that growth hormone, which really helps maintain your muscle as you age and strip off a lot of fat, that peaks at night. And if you do not sleep enough, you're not going to get that natural growth hormone surge. Even more so if you're missing sleep, your cortisol levels, which are one of your main body's main stress hormones, remain constantly elevated. And testosterone and cortisol are like on a seesaw relationship. When cortisol's high, testosterone's low. When cortisol's low, testosterone's high. So what we want to do for the purpose of muscle building is make sure that we're getting enough sleep so that cortisol levels are controlled, our testosterone levels are a lot higher, because that has a huge impact on building muscle, especially if you're a guy over 40, because let's face it, testosterone levels decrease by about 1 to 2% every year after you're 35. So that means by the time you're 45, you might have 15 to 20% lower testosterone than you did a decade earlier, and then that just compounds every decade. Now, if we can do things to offset those decreases in testosterone, like the supplements I'm going to talk to you about in the next principle, like the meal plan that I talked about with those right healthy fats, and getting enough sleep, that is really, really vital. And really one of the main points I'm trying to convey to you here is that muscle building over 40 is completely possible. Yet we have less room for error than we did when we were younger. You know, we can't get away with bad sleep, can't get away with bad eating, so you need a structured plan that has all these things dialed in and makes everything simple and actually sustainable. Again, we can help you with that if you'd like, but these principles are the foundation of what you need, whether you work with us or you do your own plan. This is just what you need to do. So let's dive into the next principle. We're gonna start talking about some of the supplements that you need. Principle number 6, the last principle here, is that you need to start using proven muscle building supplements if you're looking to build muscle in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I'm not just talking about protein powders and creatine. We're gonna talk about those in a second. But your concerns when you're over 40 for muscle building supplements become a little different, because we wanna also be using supplements that help support lowered inflammation levels and healthy joints. Because again, I told you, with aging joints, we need to make sure that, you feel good and you're able to do the exercises without pain that are gonna help you build the muscle. So, a couple really key joint supplements that we recommend all guys take on our old school muscle building program are omega-3 fish oil fatty acids. So omega-3s are found in fish, and they are just fantastic for brain health, for heart health, for joint health. They lower inflammation levels throughout your body, which just keeps you feeling better and keeps you very healthy. Because I know your goal right now is to build some muscle, but inflammation, just so you know, is the root of all disease. All disease processes have some low-level inflammation. So by taking fish oil, we can make sure that we're healthy and we control that inflammation. Typically for most guys, 1 to 3 grams every day is a great starting point. We also recommend, like in our old school muscle meal plan that we have for you, that you're eating some cold water fatty fish like salmon or sardines at least 2-3 times a week to get some natural fish oils. But supplements are a good way to cover your bases. So fish oil is a really great supplement. In addition, it's really great to take a turmeric or curcumin supplement. And you might not be familiar with this, but turmeric is actually this yellow spice that makes mustard yellow. And it's a spice that's used in a lot of Indian Ayurvedic medicine. But we've found from all the new research that we've been doing is that turmeric is one of the nature's best anti-inflammatories and anti-cancer supplements. And it can really support muscle building by keeping your joints healthy and helping you recover faster. Because remember, your recovery capacity is not as good as it was 10 years ago. That's why we need things that control the inflammation, help us recover more. A good bioactive turmeric and curcumin supplement, like I link below in this guide, is something that I highly recommend for you. Also, there's supplements like glucosamine and chondroitin, which really help rebuild cartilage and keep your knees, your shoulders, and your low back healthy. These are also great joint supplements. So the first category is we have these joint supplements, but we also have the classic muscle builders that you need. And the main ones that are research proven that actually work, and I'm not talking about all the hype and marketing BS that you see online with the gain 20 pounds overnight crap. Creatine monohydrate is one of the most effective, research-proven, and safe supplements. 5 grams every single day post-workout is what you should be having if you want to build muscle and you're over 40. And creatine isn't just a muscle-building supplement. Yes, it does help you build muscle. Yes, it does help you lift heavier and perform better. But it actually is really great for brain health. We're learning that creatine keeps your brain really healthy. And they've even done studies showing that if they give creatine to guys in their 70s who are not working out, they maintain their muscle mass, whereas the other group who didn't get the creatine loses muscle. So for guys in particular, creatine as we age helps offset the natural muscle loss that happens with aging. So it's just something that's really important. And good old creatine monohydrate, it's cheap, it's proven, it's research backed, that's what you should be taking. Also, you need a quality protein powder. Whey protein is great if you can tolerate dairy. Otherwise, a good blended plant protein is great as well. And at night, as we show you inside our old school muscle program, we have some nighttime muscle optimizers that really keep you anabolic and building muscle throughout the night that uses some casein protein with some other special ingredients. We can give you that recipe if you hop in our old school muscle building program, but just know that you need a quality protein post-workout or as a meal replacement shake throughout the day to really just get your protein needs. That's the muscle building supplements. And finally, as a guy over 40, we need to have all of our just good nutritional bases covered. So I need you to have a good quality multivitamin or greens powder. Some vitamin D3 every day, because vitamin D3 is shown to increase testosterone levels in men who are deficient, especially guys over 40. And we need to have you get a quality probiotic. Probiotic are those good gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria that we have in our GI tract, our gastrointestinal tract. And we're learning so much now that probiotics impact everything about our health. Our inflammation levels, our brain health, and even our ability to build muscle is directly correlated to how well we can digest, break down our food, and the signals that these probiotics are sending to the rest of our bodies. So a lot of guys just don't think about, they just think about the creatine, the protein powders, and the pre-workout. They don't think about these overall health supplements like the vitamin D3, the multivitamin, the probiotic. These are also essential for muscle building when you're over 40. So, in the essence of not overloading you in this first training video, because I have 2 more great training videos coming down the pipeline for you over the next coming days, I just want to lay out those 6 principles to really teach you what you need to be doing as a man to build muscle over 40. I hope this really helped you. And information is great. All these things that I'm teaching are research proven and incredibly effective. Yet, as you probably know from your own life, information without application is useless. That's why if you want a proven action plan, where me and my team tell you exactly what to do, step by step, rep by rep, meal by meal, to build muscle over 40, the plan that we've used to help 10,000 fathers build muscle, then I recommend you check down below into our old school muscle building program. It blends all of this information into a battle plan that you can use this week to start building muscle and getting strong again. I want to thank you for being here. I'm really excited to teach you more in this video training series. Hopefully see you inside with us in old school muscle, and apply these things. Start seeing results this week, read the guide below, and I'll be emailing you another training video over the next couple days that's going to cover the worst exercise myths and mistakes, and we're going to dive into some more of the exercises that you should be doing to build muscle. Stay tuned for that. I'll talk to you very soon.